back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, March 29th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting, because that is what we love, or what we love. We love. I love. You guys love? I don't know. You could be any type of crafter, or not any crafter at all, but I love to knit. That is what I love to do all day, every day, whenever I can. I have social medias. I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry you can follow me on. I also have show notes, links to things that I will be talking about in this episode, and also very fun, exciting news, events, or an event, a giveaway, because we have things to celebrate today. You can probably tell by the title. We're very, very excited here, so we will just get into that. If you'd like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal snuggle, laundry to fold, all of the above, none of the above, something else, whatever brings you joy, whatever you need to do to feel successful today or not, just relax and enjoy it, and come back and join me for some crafty chat. And yes, in fact, my mug is a fox. And this came as a set of woodland creature mugs that we registered for when we got married. And a friend very kindly got them for us. So there's the fox, which is the biggest one. There's a big wolf. There's a small wolf, and there's an owl. It sounded like I was saying wolf. It's wolf. Which now doesn't sound any different. I was saying it correctly the first time. Whatever, you know, it's the wolf animal. It doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. That's a weird start. So we're just gonna continue to move on. And we're going to talk about the giveaway that I'm going to do today, or open today, which is very exciting because everyone, this is the 200th episode, which is just mind-boggling and insane, and I can't even wrap my mind around the fact that I've done 200 of these. How is that even a thing? But it is a thing, and we're going to celebrate today, which is very exciting. So I have paired up together with my dear friend Heather of Heather Handmades, and we are going to give away things, or I'm going to give away her stuff, which is very exciting. So I normally write down this stuff about the giveaway stuff so that I could just read it off, but I have not done that today. So we're going to try and do this in order, and I'm going to go slowly so I remember to get everything. So number one, it is opening today on March 31st. I believe that would be, it would not be today when I'm recording it. Yes, it will open on March 31st when you watch this. If you watch this the day that it goes up, the thing will open, and it will run until April 12th, which is a Monday. And it is a Monday. It's not a full 2 weeks, but it is a Monday because that is when I record. So March 31st to April 12th is the time that you have to enter this wonderful giveaway. What you have to do is follow Heather Handmades on Instagram. All the stuff will be in all the various places, so do not worry if you forget or whatever. You can obviously rewatch this, or you can just go to the description down below, or it'll be on Instagram, all that stuff, on my blog, it'll be everywhere. So first off, you have things to do. First off, you have to follow Heather on Heather Handmades, at Heather Handmades on Instagram. Okay. And then secondly, you must subscribe to this YouTube channel because we are celebrating the podcast. So this is happening here on YouTube. This is happening on this episode 200. And you must comment, and I don't even know what you are going to comment. how about we comment, or you comment, your favorite thing about springtime? How about that? So you comment on this episode, favorite thing about spring, and then you also make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, the Cat Knit Podcast. Those 3 things will enter you to win not only a copy of Heather's new pattern, Textures of Textures of Comfort, which I have right here, in fact, and I got to test knit earlier this year. This wonderful guy. You get the pattern to this, and you will also receive a gift card to her shop so you can buy some of her yarn, which is super exciting. The amount will be around 2 skeins of her fingering weight, but if you choose to pick out something else and do whatever you want, you have the ability to do that. So that is super exciting. I am so excited to be hosting this giveaway to celebrate 200 episodes. It is crazy how time has flown, and also how long I have been doing this. But I also love it. So just to recap, you need to follow Heather, subscribe to this YouTube channel, comment what your favorite thing is about spring. It'll be open from March 31st to April 12th. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And all of this will be handled digitally. So there will be I will be handing out digital stuff. So then you can eventually get your yarn from Heather, which is very exciting. And her yarn is amazing. So would highly recommend. Super excited to be able to share the love of her yarn and her pattern, and this is just very, very exciting. So thank you all to thank you to all of you. There we go. Thank you to all of you who have been with me for however long you have been with me, whether it's been the entire time or it's been half the time or it was just from last week. I really appreciate it. Every single one of you mean so much to me. Because ultimately, I just feel like I'm sitting in this little corner of our apartment talking to a camera. I don't really think about everyone that I am talking to, and so getting to interact with you, getting to just know that you all are there watching me is really wonderful and does just mean so much to me. So thank you so much for sticking around for 200 episodes. I cannot believe that we are finally here. And here's to, who knows, 200 more. That sounds very overwhelming. So we're just gonna say, I don't know how many more. Don't forget to enter if you are interested in that yarn and the pattern. Super exciting. So fun times. So everyone, I don't know where to begin. And I feel like I say that every week. So we're not changing anything up for this 200th episode, but also I am now remembering I'm not very organized for this episode. I do apologize, but we've gotten all the important giveaway information out of the way. Remember that. Look at all the important places. But to do something else in addition to make it a party, to celebrate 200 episodes, I have come up with 20, because 20 seemed like a good number because I was not coming up with 200 random facts about myself to share with you because I thought that would be entertaining. Do we do that now? Do we do that later? I don't know. Do we go through a couple things and then talk about knitting and then we'll just continue on? I think that's a fun idea. Let's do that. Okay, so everybody, we started off really easy. I had the hardest time doing this. I don't know why it's difficult coming up with facts about me, because also I didn't want them to be super obvious of like things that I've talked about on this podcast before, which some of them are, but I wanted to pick out random things, and you will definitely see how random they do get. But first off, number one, my age. I am 28 years old. I just turned 28 this past February. And fun fact, which is more of a fact, is that Sam, my husband, is younger than me. He is currently 26 and will turn 27 in July. So I am older than he is. But that really doesn't matter because, I mean, it's just an age. So that's number one, fun fact. Number two, I am currently living in Texas, but I was not born here. I was born in Oklahoma, and I definitely like to claim myself as being an Oklahoman because I was born there, and also because Texas is a lot. And yeah, so, but Sam, on the other hand, also facts about Sam. Sam was born in Texas. He was born in Houston. So this is where he grew up. So I do love Texas. I do love Houston for various reasons. But deep down, I feel like I'm an Oklahoman. Number three, I have siblings. Fun fact. And you may know this. I don't know. I know some of you may know this, like my mom. I know my mom knows this. I have 3 other siblings. I have 2 older siblings. I have one brother who is married. I have an older sister who is married as well. And then there's about 11-year gap, and then there's me, and I'm married. And then I have a younger brother who is currently not married, but he is. We're all in our middle, or we're not all in our middle, I was about to say middle to late 20s. That does not apply to all of us. That applies to myself and my younger brother, and then my older 2 siblings are obviously older. So there's a total of 4 of us, plus the in-laws. We have a total of 7. Yes, math. 4 plus 3. Plus my parents. So family events are always very fun, and they're quite the party. And then we have my little nephew. So it is wonderful. We love family events. Number 4, this may be a surprise to some of you. This may not be a surprise to some of you. This may, I know that this is a very, well, maybe not super controversial. I don't know. I feel like I see more people the opposite of what I'm about to say these things, but I know that there are people out there who are like this, that I prefer the winter to the summer or spring. I prefer cold to hot. Because it is also probably largely due to the fact that I live in a climate that is mostly hot and very not as often cold, except for this year, because this year is crazy, as was last year. But this year we had the snowstorm that was very random, and destroyed Texas, but whatever, that is another topic. So yeah, I just prefer winter. I prefer the cold. I feel like when you're cold, you can put things on, you can layer up, but when you get hot, there's only so much you can take off before you can't take off anything else. And so I just prefer the cold. Similarly to that, I prefer the rain to the sun. And I think I've mentioned this before. I really, I feel like deep down in my soul, my Oklahoman soul apparently, that if there are too many days of sunny days and there's not any rain, I will get sad. So that's like the opposite of like being sad when it's mostly cloudy and then you have one rainy day or one sunny day and then you're really happy again. I'm the opposite of that, I feel like. I just really love the rain. I love the rain, especially when it's cold rain. You know, and I mean, I don't know. That's my favorite type of weather, especially when I don't have to go anywhere. And it's like, which is not hard, especially right now. But those are some things that I am going to share with you so far. And I don't know how we're going to divide this up, but I've just given you 5 facts. Let's talk about some yarn and knitting. This is very random, very much of a hodgepodge episode, but that's okay because we're celebrating 200 episodes, you know? So, you know what, everyone? I do have a finished object. Wouldn't you know? And I am quite honestly surprised that this is a finished object because for some reason I just decided I'm gonna get this done. And I did. So everyone, I finished my Sea Vogger by Kate Davies. And it actually looks like a sweater. Whoa! How amazing is that? And look, I did mess up with those stripes on the sleeve, but that's okay. You know what? It's a design element. I did it on purpose. Kind of, not really, but that's okay. It adds character. So I did finish it. I knit this out of Knit Picks, I'm trying to, tweed stroll tweed. It's one of those two, it's those words, I just can't remember the order of them. And the Rabbit Heatherway, which is the light brown, and then Farmhouse Heather, which is the dark brown. And I am so happy with how this turned out. I knew I would really like it, but I was not expecting to love it as much as I do. When I tried it on, I was like, oh, this is very, very exciting. It was not, I don't know what I was expecting. Again, not that I was expecting to not like it, but I think because it had been so long since I had like cast it on and been really inspired by it, I was just like, ah, well, we are just finishing a languishing whip over here. I don't really know how I feel about this, but we are getting it done. And indeed, I did get it done. My 3-needle bind off is nice and stretchy, which is always a good moment. Love a short little sleeve. It fits so well. I cannot even. And it's pretty long. It's definitely, I'm trying to think about like where it would come. It comes pretty far past my hip bone, so kind of almost tunic-y length. It's not fully past my butt, but it's like halfway. Does that make sense? I don't know. But, no pun intended. But I really like it, and I'm very excited to wear this. It is fingering weight, if you are unfamiliar with stroll, so it is a little bit lighter weight. That being said, it is long sleeved. I did think about putting in thumb holes, but surprisingly, I was like, again, playing somewhat of a yarn chicken with my dark brown color, which I think it's probably just because I did the cast on in that, and it was, for some reason, I was just really running out of yarn, and that's fine. I mean, there's less to keep around, though we do love good scrappy projects. I'm also very excited and very happy with how this neckline turned out. I know it looks kind of weird right now, but when it's on, it looks very boat necky, and I really like that. And again, we do love a good drop shoulder. It is awesome. Stripes, love stripe. It's tweed, love a good tweed. All good things. So yes, this is Sea Vogger by Kate Davies. It was very straightforward. I feel like there were some different terms that I was unfamiliar with for things that I didn't know what they were. So it was like, oh, I have not heard what that term is before, but I know what it's talking about based on context, which I thought was interesting. It was a good learning experience in that regard. Very straightforward, bottom up, knitting forever and around, good mindless project, all good things. And now it's done. And like I said before, I had started this in May of 2019. So it's done now, and I feel very good about it. So this is very exciting. Happy to have this done. Looking forward to wearing it soon in the times that it is chilly. you know, which could happen. You know, I was also thinking about this. It can be chilly in the mornings. We do have the random cold snaps that come through in March and April that happen like in the morning and at night. Sunday was cold. I don't know. There was a cold front that blew through. Yes, this is a weather podcast. And this is not a weather podcast, but we do talk about the weather a lot because I feel passionately about the weather for some reason. So there are cold snaps that do come through, especially in the springtime, which is very nice. It reminds us that we do have chilly weather. It's chilly for Houston, and it's kind of just reminding us that there are cold times when we're getting ready for the very, very hot summer to come. And also, when it is chilly like this, or a little bit cooler, and it's not super hot, like in the mid-low 70s, if I dress in a way that is gonna make me chilly, even when the air conditioner is not on, which I'm not saying that I get chilly in mid-70-degree weather. That is not what I'm saying. But I can get chilly when the air conditioner is on, sometimes when it's not, whatever, you know what I mean. And then I have more ability to throw on sweaters like this and enjoy them, even though it is a little bit warmer outside. So I just dress to wear knitwear more often in the springtime, if that makes sense. Try to get as much use out of my knits as I can, especially when the warm is coming, because it is coming. So next up, well, I don't know how many we're gonna do. Next up, fact number 6, what is my favorite dessert? And I did not pre-prepare an answer, I just wrote favorite dessert, which now I actually have to decide. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So I love desserts. I also really love savory and salty things. So I really like when people ask me, or you get asked, like, do you prefer sweet or savory things? And it's like, I honestly cannot decide because I like both of them. I love a good cookie. I love a good brownie. I love a good cake. I love a good cupcake. I love pies, fruity things. But there is one dessert in particular. I also love things like tiramisu. I love creme brulee. I love those kind of things too, which feel a little bit more fancy. But there is one thing in particular that I just really, really love. Maybe to the same level as the other things, but like maybe it's higher. I don't know. I feel like it has a special place in my heart, and I also just love it a lot. And that is sticky toffee pudding. And I love sticky toffee pudding. It's also very fun to say, and it's fun to say it fast, and I'm probably going to be saying it a lot, so prepare yourself. But yeah, I've had it several places before. My mom has made it before as well for a birthday of mine. I don't remember which birthday that was, but I remember she made it for me, and I just can't even. It is so good. I think the nuttiness and the carameliness, and then like you have the ice cream and the fudgy and the hot, and it's just like, I just love it so much. I don't have it very often, mainly because I have not made it myself, and feel like it's very infrequent that I find it on menus. Not that I'm going places a lot to get desserts right now, but you know what I mean. Love good sticky toffee pudding. It's a favorite. Like if I saw it on a menu, I would be like, they have sticky toffee pudding. I am so excited. We must get it. Even if we don't normally get desserts at places. It is a favorite of mine. Next up, fact number 7. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me mention this before, but I'm going to talk about it. I have not mentioned it on the podcast, so I'm going to say it now. But the beginning of this year, I entered into the world that is K-dramas or Korean dramas, and I am thoroughly hooked. I cannot get enough of them. I love them so much. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how invested I get in the few that I've seen so far. And the emotions are real, and I love it, and they're just amazing, and I want to watch them all the time, but I can't because the episodes are usually about an hour long, and I don't have time to watch a whole story in a day, even though I might like to. But I've kind of been treating them in a way that, like, I don't want them to end, so I'll put off finishing the ones that I really like, which I've loved all of the ones that I've seen so far. I just finished Cinderella and Her 4 Nights, and I can't even. It was the most precious story, and it was so beautiful, and there were a lot of tears and emotions because it was so beautiful. I love them. So that is my new favorite thing if I'm not reading or watching YouTube while I knit or doing other things. I'm probably watching a K-drama. And I love them. So if you are into K-dramas, please let me know what your favorites are. I think at this point I have seen 5 of them, which is not very many in the grand scheme of things, but I have Hulu and I have Netflix, and those are the places that I'm looking at them on or watching them on. They're like my new favorite thing. I can't. And the music is just so good. They're like, give me a K-drama and a sticky toffee pudding and I will just, and some knitting. So good, so good. So that was another fact about me. Let me know if you have any K-drama recommendations, because I'm really, really into that right now. Please let me know. So next up, I pulled out, I don't know, did I make any progress on this? I don't remember. This is my Basque shawl. Oh, I think I did. Or I may not have, and I may have. I feel like I did work on this though. I apologize if you've already seen this. I cannot remember. Episode 200 problems. I can't remember if I've shown you things literally last week. So I'm going to move this stitch or progress keeper as soon as I talk about this. This is my Basque shawl. That is by Samantha Gurin, and I am using my Amethyst Birthstone mini set from Hue Loco that I got. So I've done 4 colors at this point. I know it's kind of hard to see, but ooh, that's, yeah, this color that I'm working with has the pink sprinkled in, and I'm loving it. This was my birthday shawl. I cast this on my birthday while the snowstorm was impending, which is why my gauge is so tight at the beginning, but whatever, we've already talked about that. So yes, because when everything fell, it's just when it happened, and my birth being in February, my birthstone is amethyst, and so when I saw this kit, it was like, oh my goodness, or not a kit, but the mini set. So I'm fading it. Her, Samantha's original one was done in 1 color, but I am fading it because a fade of an amethyst is just right up my alley. I cannot, even with these colors, I would pull them all out to show you, but they are placed very neatly in this project bag. So I am just plugging along. We do have garter stitch and then brioche lace, which sounds very complicated, but it's really not. It's very, very simple. So do not worry if you are hesitant about the phrase brioche lace, which I completely understand if you are. It is not that bad. And it creates a beautiful pattern that looks very complicated when in actual fact it's not as complicated as you think. I don't know, can you see that very well? But it like, it creates, I don't know if I'm showing this very well. But you can see these little like bubbly things right there. That's one. We've got increases and decreases. You can kind of see based off of shadows where the little bubblies are. But I'm loving this. I'm now going to move my Progress Keeper, which is a glazed donut from Little Bitty Delights, which I do love her stuff quite a lot. Love a good glaze, don't you know? Would I count that as a dessert? I don't think so, because I mean, like, it's a breakfast food. But I could also see myself very readily having one for dessert. But I don't know. You can have donuts whenever. That's really the answer. Afternoon, morning, evening, whenever you so desire. If you have an opportunity to have a fresh donut, seize that moment. So that was worked on, and I did move the Progress Keeper, excuse me. I am recording here. I didn't make any progress on my sock, so I'm not going to show you. Yes, I do realize that when you're seeing this is the last day of March, but that's okay. You know what? It's fine. Feel like there was a lot going on in March. Now things that I can't remember. I did have a lot of test knits, and that was kind of important, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself. It's really okay. It's really okay. So let's do some more facts about me, shall we? Fact number 8 is my cat, which you may know if you've been a long-time viewer. If you follow me on Instagram, you've definitely seen my cat. He is an orange cat with white booties, and he is the sweetest thing in the entire world, though he has an attitude most of the time. But he knows that he's cute, so he gets away with things. He is 19 years old. He is very old. I have had him longer than the time that I have not had him. He is also from Oklahoma, fun fact. He's traveled, moved multiple places. He moved from Oklahoma to Houston. Then he moved from Houston to Dallas when Sam and I got married. And then he moved back to Houston, from Dallas to Houston, when we moved back. About 3 years ago, I think. So he's been around, he's traveled places, and he is just wonderful. Also, about Birdie, I do get this question, or you may not know, it sounds like Birdie, like the birds, but it's not like the birds. It's Bertie, which is short for Bertram, because he is named after Bertram Wilberforce Wooster from Jeeves and Wooster, which I am a huge fan of, if you did not know. This was not a written fact, but this is also another fact that I'm going to throw in as a bonus fact. Love P.G. Wodehouse. Grew up watching Jeeves and Wooster with Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry. It is like my ultimate comfort TV show to watch, besides another one that I'm going to talk about. But this one, I can't, it will never grow old. I have seen all the episodes so many times. I couldn't even begin to count how many times I've seen all the episodes. I love them so much, they will never get old. So, Birdie was named after Bertie Wooster. My younger brother had a cat named Jeeves after the butler in that series, if you were familiar with it. And unfortunately, Jeeves is no longer with us, but Birdie is going strong. He's very healthy, very happy, very not stressed for a 19-year-old. And he definitely gets what he wants. He's spoiled. And yeah, but I love him so dearly. And Sam loves him too. And Birdie has accepted Sam, loves Sam so much. I am little human, Sam is big human. When we make Birdie talk, that's what we call each other. Anyway, those are the little details. That is my cat. That is fact number 7. Number 8? I don't remember. the next fact, we're just going to skip over the numbers because I have them all numbered out here. The next fact is that I find coloring very soothing. I don't know why I thought of this fact, and I know that there are lots of other people that love coloring. I haven't colored in a while, but I do have like a few coloring books that are really very high quality, and I really should get back into coloring. And I have crayons, I've got nice markers that I use for my planner and stuff like that, so like I really need to do it. But usually if I'm sitting, I'm probably knitting. That's the only downside. If I'm not knitting and I wanted to do something soothing that would require me sitting in one place, I'd probably either work on a puzzle or I would color. Love a good coloring book. The next fact is that I hate the laundry. I really don't like doing the laundry. I would way rather do the dishes than do the laundry. I don't know why that is, but I would give me a pile of dishes any day, and I would do the dishes way over laundry. So I don't know, again, I don't know why that is. I just really don't like doing the laundry. Yeah. I think I've said that on this podcast before, but I don't remember. Next up, do we have other things to talk about? Do we want to take a break? Yeah, let's take a break. Never mind. We have more projects to talk about than I thought. So, next up, we have my wonderful Advent Dotted Rays by Stephen West. And it is going along swimmingly. I am on the last wedge of the super extra large size, or whatever it's called. And it is so beautiful. Can we even? I am so excited. I haven't made a ton of projects since you guys saw it last, but again, I have another glazed donut, so I'm going to move that from Little Bitty Delights. I'm going to scoot that up. But yes, I am working on the last wedge, and it's quite amazing. And once I'm done with this wedge, I begin the chevron border, which I'm so excited. I, for some reason, forgot that the chevron border is striped. So my plan is to use this as a stripe held single. So I have the one strand of the whatever minis are left over, and then this to do the border. I am also trying just to run down the minis as much as I can in this last wedge, so that whatever I have left over can go towards the border. If not, I've got a lot of other minis that are left over from previously, which would look amazing in the border, I know. So it will work out perfectly no matter what happens. I just don't know how it's going to work out, which is really okay. That's part of the fun. And part of me is like, I really want to know, and I really need to figure this out, but it's like, it's okay. It's gonna work out no matter what. It's just, you don't know how it's going to work out. And that's okay, you know, it's gonna be fine. I am showing this to you upside down. This is how it's going to look. You know, I don't want to knock over my coffee. Is this not beautiful? Can we even? This is Pineapple Yarn's Advent Calendar from 2020 that I am loving. This has been so much fun. It's been such a relaxing knit. I just can't even. Love a good garter stitch. Love a good mindless project. This is my take with me anywhere, everywhere, and anywhere project, even though it's big. Like, I don't know. Again, not that I'm going a ton of places, but the places that I do go, I usually will have this with me. Because it's a good, like, I have almost 600 stitches, or maybe almost 500 stitches on my needles. Like, there's a long rows. They take a while. So if I'm, whatever I may be doing that requires mindless knitting, this is a good option. So Not a lot to show you, but I am coming in to the finish line, which is super exciting. I don't know if I will have this. I really doubt that I'll have this finished by next week, but we'll see. I didn't think I would get my Seevogger done, but I did, so I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. That is very exciting. Again, this is Dotted Rays by Stephen West, if you did not know. What do we want to talk about next? Let's do this. How many, let's do 2 facts. Okay, so fact number 1, or the next fact. I love working out. And I love working out for the fact that, like, it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel very strong, and it makes me feel very, like, confident and just really powerful, in a very, like, way, if that makes sense. I love doing different types of workouts, especially dancing workouts, which goes into the next fact, which is I love Zumba so much. It is like my favorite thing to do. And I go to Zumba classes at my Y. We're spaced out, which is really great. And I love it so much. It's such a good workout. It's such a fun way to just kind of like let go and be free and be sassy, and like we love a good salsa and we love a good merengue and all that kind of stuff. It's just such a good time. I love it. It's a great workout. But it doesn't even really feel like a workout because like you're just having fun and you're dancing and you're shaking your hips while you're at it. So like it's just the perfect situation. Next up. Knitting wise, oh, this is not currently on any needles, but I've made progress on my nephew's Penguino. More Stephen West. I thought of a funny Stephen West statement that I am going to tell you in just a moment, but first let me show you this Penguino. And let me untie these Scoobies really quickly. It might be, I don't know if that'll be easier to show it to you, but here we have the back. Here we have the first front is completed. And we have all the sides and stuff that's done. And I love how, the fact that I was running out of yarn, of the color that I was using, like, I love how this looks. It looks so good. And it was all because I was running out of yarn that I was using. So it turned out perfectly. And then we have this little random little dark stripe right there, which I think is super fun. So that's good. And I have knit this middle section. So now I have to do basically from here to the end on the other side, which is not a lot. And again, is pretty mindless. It is, obviously there is some patterning to it that I do have to keep track of, but it's very little. And I'm knitting it on, what, size 9s? These are pretty big. Yeah, size 9s. So it goes very quickly. It's super straightforward. It's all garter stitch. It's also very satisfying. I love working on this. This is just going to be so cute on my nephew. I cannot wait to see him in it, and I just cannot even. So yeah, there's the one side. It's kind of hard to tell, but there it is. So love how these stripes turned out. I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do on the other side in regards to the front and yarn that I'm using, which is all just a stash of various Lion brands, anything that's superwash basically, so my sister-in-law can just throw it in the wash and not even worry about it. Like I said, this is a Penguino, which is like the Penguono but for little kids, by Stephen West. Wonderfully written pattern. I am in the process of working on Sam's Penguino, or Penguono, excuse me. And I when both are done, I will have knit 3 penguino, or 2 penguinos, 1 penguino. That's a lot. And I am positive it will not be my last. I will knit many more penguinos, whatever. It's such a good pattern. Would highly recommend. So, next up, let's talk about this languishing whip that I pulled out. This is in my Adventure Awaits bag that my mom got me from one of her trips to Maker and Stitch a year ago? No, not a year ago. A few years ago. I don't remember what year it was, but she did get this for me from Maker and Stitch. So it is special for that reason. And in here is something that I failed to put on my Ravelry page. So this isn't actually in my counting of projects that I have on my needles, which is very unfortunate, and fortunately there's 2 of them, including this one, that I have not put on my Ravelry page. So, but that's okay, that's not the point. This is my Ziggy shawl by Joji Locatelli. And I love this thing. This is just so beautiful, and this has a stories behind it, I guess. This yarn was given to me from my in-laws for Christmas. Was it 2018? I think it was 2018. I got this yarn in 2018 from my in-laws for Christmas. It is Madeline Tosh in the, I don't know what colorway. Oh, here we go. I did finish my first skein, so that's very exciting. This is the Star Scatter colorway in the Tosh Merino Light and Holo Glitter base. So we do have this amazing holographic sparkle. I do not know if you can tell, but it is there, trust me, because it also sheds. But it is very, very wonderful. We have some lace, we've got some garter. I picked up where this donut is, and I made quite a bit of progress. So the story behind this is that in May of 2019, I was in a car accident that was not my fault. It wasn't great, but it could have been worse, and thankfully nobody was hurt. I was not hurt. I had a bruise on my knee. That was the worst thing. My car was totaled. It was very, very sad. It was very scary. But all that to say is that recovering from that, I really felt the things that Joji had written about this pattern when she was describing what it was about and like why she designed it. We have a beautiful picture. I think basically what she said was that she felt like, or when she designed this, she felt like there was just a lot going on and she wasn't doing, or things weren't going as well as she was wanting in some areas of her life or something like that. And so she knew that she could do garter stitch really well and she could do lace really well. So she designed this to contain things that she was good at so that she could be like, it's okay, I know I can be successful and I know I can do things well, and not question her abilities. I guess that's mainly the point, I think. That was not very well eloquently, or not very eloquently said. I do apologize, but if you go on the Ravelry page, I'm sure she has it written there. But so I had these 2 skeins of Star Scatter that I think I had been saving for Ziggy, but I just hadn't like cast it on yet, and I was just, it was rough with the rack and everything, and so I was like, I'm gonna cast this on, and I don't care what else I have on my needles. I don't care. I'm gonna buy needles. I'm gonna get nice needles, and I'm gonna cast it on. So I did, and I just continued to work on it, and for some reason, I don't know, it must have just been like where I was mentally, or just my mindset. When I would work on it, especially in the lace portions, I couldn't get it right, which was really weird considering that this was the point, was to be able to do things that you could do well. But I just couldn't get my mind wrapped around this lace pattern, so I was kind of frustrated with it, honestly, but I didn't want to frog it because, again, there's a story behind it, and I didn't want to not finish it because I loved it. I wanted to wear it. I love this yarn because it's sparkly, and my in-laws gave it to me, which is really nice. So I picked it back up, and it's been like sitting with all my other projects as well, and I know that I've shown this to you guys before, but yeah, I made so much progress. This lace is now just flying by. I know I definitely have to watch it, but this is just flown by. I also went up a needle size because, again, like, this is not my normal 6 gauge, and granted, I did cast this on in May of 2019, so this is also very old. But I'm pretty sure it was May. It was either May or June. But yeah, so that leads into the thing I was going to say about Stephen West, which doesn't actually have to do with Stephen West necessarily, but it includes him in this thought that I had. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that we watched WandaVision, which was super awesome. It's on Disney Plus if you're unfamiliar. It's part of the Marvel world. I know next to nothing about the Marvel world, and so that's been fun. It's a lot of information. It's kind of overwhelming. But I know some people might say that about knitting, and that's okay. So now we're watching the Winter Soldier and the Falcon show that's coming out right now. I couldn't really tell you much more than that, but that's okay. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for other episodes to come out, Sam and I decided that we are going to watch in release date order all the other Marvel movies, starting with Iron Man #1, which came out in 2008, which seems like forever ago, but I remember when it came out, which is just crazy. And so just the process of watching all these things with Sam is really fun, even though I'm not into it. Like, I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. It's definitely a fun thing to watch together. And even though I don't know anything about it, Sam is really excited about it. He loves it. He's just very fascinated by it. That and Star Wars are some of his favorite things. And so when we do watch things together and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Why did this happen? Who is this? And are these people related? Are they like somehow connected some way? Why is this happening? So he very kindly, similarly to anything Star Wars or The Mandalorian or all that kind of stuff, he's very, very willing to explain things to me, which is very wonderful, and I do appreciate that. So it's very fun that we can do this together, and we can also just laugh about, like, remembering watching these movies for the first time. I have not seen all of these movies by any means, but I remember watching the Iron Man movie specifically and just laughing about those things together. But my point, here we're getting to the point, I do apologize, this is a very long and rambly story, but I was thinking, like, Sam's knowledge about Marvel and Star Wars would be similar to, like, me and my knowledge. I could give you, like, a timeline of Stephen West patterns and, like, the eras of the different Stephen West patterns, and Sam can give me the information about the eras and the phases of the Marvel people. Marvel characters? I don't know. What do we call them? Marvel characters? That sounds right. That sounds best, I think. I don't know. But I don't know why I thought of that, but I just thought that was funny. Maybe you don't think that's funny, I don't know, but, like, I could I can tell you the timelines of Stephen West patterns, but I couldn't tell you really anything about the major Avengers movies. I couldn't tell you the order that they came out in. I couldn't tell you who started off in S.H.I.E.L.D. and who didn't and all that kind of stuff. I do know what S.H.I.E.L.D. I do take great pride in the things that I do know, which is not a lot, like I said, but whenever I do like pull a fact out of my mind, it's like, I did remember that. I did remember that his name is Bucky. Look at me go, I know things. This is a long rambly story. It's really not very important, but I did think that was funny comparing my knowledge to Stephen West patterns to Sam's knowledge of Marvel characters. I've been working on this while we've been watching these things. That was the connection. I'm sorry, that was so rambly. So this is another languishing whip, and that is that. I do want to cast something on. I'm really itching to cast something on, and in fact, I almost forgot because I covered up this yarn. Let's go over some facts first. So, another fact, I do love a good drink. And my go-to drink, fun fact, is a rum and coke. I love a rum and coke. But I also love margaritas, and I love flavored margaritas. Those are so good. And Sam, over the lockdown quarantine, perfected the margarita, and it is so good. It is so delicious. Next up, I not only know how to play the piano and played it for a very long time, but I also know how to play the violin. Grew up doing that. I took both piano and violin lessons until we moved to Houston, really, and that was maybe in 2005. And I continued taking piano lessons up until graduating college. And still, I don't play the piano regularly. We do have an electric piano that I had while in college, but I don't regularly play, but I do know how to play, and I can, like, go and play. I know how to sight read. So I do like that. That is very wonderful. Next up, this is super random, but I'm not a huge fan of olives unless they're on things like a sandwich or pizza. But even then, like, there's probably a good chance I might pick it off. I don't know why. It's kind of a hit or miss. Like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't mind them, but other times it's like, what? I really do not like Kalamata olives. I, like, cannot. I always want to, like, I like the idea of them, and I like the idea of, like, a Mediterranean dish with feta and Kalamata olives, but, like, I just cannot do that taste. I think it's also the texture. I just don't like the texture of olives. Next up, also super random, I love watching the Olympics. The Olympics are one of my favorite things to watch on television, which, yes. So when it had to be canceled last year, that was super sad, but very understandable considering the state of the world. And I'm looking forward to whenever the next Olympics happens. Do I have a preference of winter over summer? I like them for different reasons. I feel like I watch more, or I'm interested in more in the winter ones, which, wow, I like winter, so maybe that could also be a factor. You never know. It's probably not, but I don't know. I love the Olympics so much. Next up, I have slowly become more and more of a morning person. And I say that very loosely. Like, I don't enjoy waking up early. Like, I don't enjoy waking up early. But as I've gotten older, I like can't really function very well on little sleep, and so staying up late just doesn't bode very well for my functioning the next day. So I try and take care of myself and like do what I need to do to function well the next day, so I don't stay up super late, or I try not to stay up super late. But yeah, I really don't like waking up early. Like, I don't like the action of waking up early, but I do love being productive in the morning. I love, sunrises are awesome. I love getting a good workout in really early in the morning, and then it's done, and then you feel really like jazzed up for the day. I love the quiet of the morning. I love a cold, rainy morning with coffee and a book and knitting, like Can We Even, and Birdie. And just throw some sticky toffee pudding in there and maybe a K-drama, and oh my goodness, I would be set. The ultimate happiness. Next up, another probably like a favorite top tier comfort level TV show, and I know this would apply to a lot of people, and that would be The Office. I cannot begin to describe to you how much I love The Office. It has, I've watched it through many stages in my life, and so I feel like it's always hitting different in some ways. It's always funny. It will never not be funny to me. Like, it's just so funny. I love Michael Scott. I know a lot of people don't like Michael Scott, can't stand him. I understand that. I totally do. I do not understand, no offense if this is you, but like, I don't understand people who hate Michael Scott. Like, he's such an endearing person. He has very good intentions. He means so well. He wants to love people. He wants to be loved. And sometimes it's a little misdirected, but he's very endearing. And I just love him so much. Sam and I have watched the entirety of The Office multiple times during our time together, both dating and married. It's one of those shows that we can turn on at any point in the whole series and love it. Also know what's going on because we've seen it so many times. Some seasons are better than others, we will say that. But solid show. Love that so much. Another very random fact that I felt the need to share, but it was a fact, and so I wrote it down, is the fact that I have actually never lived alone. I lived obviously with my parents until I graduated high school and went to college. I had roommates all the years that I was there, and then I got married, and now I live with Sam. Which it's just a fact. It's just my life experience. I don't really know if I would do well living alone, mainly because I've never done it, but I like having roommates because I like being around people, and people that I like, and people that I love, mainly my husband. And next up, which I believe is the final question, or the final fact. I kind of did these out of order in the order that I wrote them down in, so I don't actually, I know that this is the only one we haven't gone over, and the most pressing, and I'm sure the one you're most dying to find out, which is such a build-up, and I don't even know why I said that, but what is my favorite candy? And it is that it's not chocolate, because discussion. Yeah. It is either gummy bears, or Jolly Ranchers, or Sour Patch Kids. I forgot about those. So good. So good. I love gummy bears. If you love gummy bears, and if you are near a Buc-ee's, if you know what a Buc-ee's is, it's a gas station convenience store thing. The Buc-ee's gummy bears are the best gummy bears I have ever had. They are somehow juicy. I don't know how that works for gummy bears, but the flavor is so good. It's just So tasty. So I would highly recommend, if you like gummy candy in general, probably would love the Buc-ee's gummy bears. They also have very, like, you can tell that they are flavored, and like it's very clear that they are flavored. It's not like, oh, this one's red. The red tastes the same as the orange and the all that kind of, like, it's just the color, but they are actually flavored, and it is so good. So good. That is all, those are all the facts. So we've gone through all 20 facts of me. If you have any more questions or would like to make any comments on these facts, please let me know. Leave a comment, send me a message. I would love to discuss. But finally, I do have a new cast on coming. I'm very excited about this. This is very out of my comfort zone, but I'm excited. So I have a test knit coming up, everybody, and yes, I know, whatever. Just, it'll be fine. I'm excited. There's no reason why it wouldn't be fine. That's also the main thing. I'm doing a test knit. It's not nothing big. This is a test knit for Charissa. What am I doing? Here we go. Charissa of, that's the wrong one. Where's the actual, okay. Her username on Instagram is cl.knits. And I am test knitting her RQ8? Her RQ8 vest. Which looks like this, which is her picture on her Instagram, and it is just so cute. It's a cabled vest, which, like, again, very outside of my comfort zone. I have not knit, I definitely knit a vest before, I take that back, but it has been a long time. But I just love how this looks. She also put together this super cute reel on her feed of, like, how to style it, and I was just very inspired and was like, oh my goodness, this is so cute. I need to do this right now. So I think this might be her first design. I could be wrong about that, but it might be, which is super exciting, and I am very much looking forward to knitting this. Again, since it's smaller, I think it will go quickly, but I do have to actually wind up my yarn. This is very, very, very old stash, and yeah, this is Barocco Ultra Alpaca. Love it. I believe the vest is a DK, and I know that this works up well for me as a DK. I can make it work. Plus, I'm excited. Again, very, very much outside my comfort zone, but you know, doing that is important. It's very important to do things outside your comfort zone. Otherwise, you will not grow. You will not learn things. You know, that was a piece of fuzz. I thought that was a bug. It's just a piece of fuzz. I'm glad we learned that. This has been a much longer podcast than I thought it would be, and I apologize if I was super rambly. Yes, that is just the fact of what this podcast is. That is just kind of, I wouldn't say that I'm a rambly person in general, like off the podcast, but I can be rambly, that is for sure. I also don't really do a whole lot of prep unless it's something like this or giveaway information. I very rarely write things down. I used to do that way back at the beginning of starting this podcast, but I personally like podcasts that are very just like, it seems like a conversation. This is what it would be like if we were just hanging out and chatting. So that's what I try and do when I record my episodes, just to be very chill, super relaxed. We'll have a laugh, have some tea, some coffee, maybe a pastry, some sticky toffee pudding. We love a good sticky toffee pudding. But yes, that is all the knitting that I have. Those are all the facts that I have. Again, the giveaway from March 31st to April 12th. You have around 10-ish days to follow Heather, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and comment on this episode of what your favorite thing is about springtime, or it becoming spring or something like that. Tell me that, and you'll be entered to win a gift card to her shop and a copy of her pattern, which is super exciting. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for everyone just sticking around and subscribing and being a viewer, whether you've been here for not super long or you've been here the entire time. I really appreciate every single one of you. If you leave comments, if you don't leave comments, I still appreciate you. It is just really amazing to see how this podcast has grown. I feel like I have grown creatively and also just as a person doing this podcast. So I think that's really awesome, and I'm really excited that I started this 200 episodes ago, whenever that was. Let's see, what year would that have been? I had either just gotten engaged or hadn't gotten engaged yet. And we got married in 2017. So that would have been 2016. Yeah, because I was right either before or after I graduated as well. So 2016, summer of 2016. That is a long time. That is a very long time. I feel like we've kind of grown up together. We've experienced a lot of life together. You've been with me through many locations together, switching up things, whether it be in the same apartment, completely different apartment, different city, different time of life. But it's all been really awesome. And I am just very grateful for all of you for being loyal and dedicated viewers week in and week out, dealing with my weather rants and my rambling. But you all are wonderful, and I appreciate it. So, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you had a wonderful week, and you continue to have a wonderful weekend, and you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I have crafty plans ahead of me. I have a test knit to cast on. I have other things to make progress on. I feel like I need to cast something else on that's not a test knit, but I need to wind up that yarn. But I feel like since I actually have to wind up with this yellow yarn, I will just go ahead and wind up the other one, at least one skein of the other one. So while I have the thing going. Ball winder and Swift, that's what I should say. This little guy, not the tree, this thing. Very almost knocked over my coffee, but that's okay. I did it. That is the point. Show notes, social medias, all that stuff will be all the various places and all the information to enter the giveaway. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and ask me. I'd be more than happy to help. Or if you just want to chat, I would love to say hello. If you have any K-dramas to suggest, I would love to hear your recommendations. I just can't get enough of them. It is my new passion. Which I do have to not work on complicated things because I have to read the subtitles on when I watch K-dramas. So that is a fact. But worth it. So worth it. I have picked up on a few Korean words though. Like I know if I hear them what they mean. But again, that's just like, it's not hardly anything. I still need to read the subtitles. But that's okay. It's, like I said, it's very worth it. Who knows what projects I will show you next week? Who knows what progress I will have? Who knows if there will be a finished object? I don't know. We will have to wait and see. And yes, that is just, I think that is that. I have been recording for a very long time at this point, so I will cut this. We'll just end this here, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.